Right then, we're going to start off this morning with promoting and maintaining a strong and functional hoof capsule. This is my everyday approach to keeping feet strong, horses sound and customers happy. So I'm going to go through a couple of things that I like to do when I'm shoeing the horses, and then we're going to bring a horse in, we'll have a coffee break, we'll shoot 2 feet and go through that. So just to start off, there are 5 key factors that contribute to keeping, in my opinion, a strong and functional hoof capsule. Farrier, genetics, conformation, stable environment management, nutrition, diet and hoof management. And I've just put next to the side of it, obviously farrier, that's our main concern. Genetics and the conformation is completely out of our control. The stable environment management, nutrition, diet, hoof management, as I've put next to the side of it, it's very hard to influence, it depends on the individual client. And I'm not going to stand up here and promote a hoof supplement or a liquid. And I do use them as well to help keep feet strong. But there's other things I like to do that I think you can maintain a foot for the full shoeing period. So when I say that, I mean the day you shoe it, you go back at the suitable shoeing cycle and it looks the same that distance later. Obviously the stable environment management, that's really important, and we all do horses that are on the wrong type of bedding, but it is so hard to influence that, and I think especially paper and your shavings, but especially paper, dries the feet out. And when I say the environmental management, I think a lot of it's to do with the feet when they're out in the mud drying the feet out, and it's all to do with the level of the pH in the soil. But I'm not a scientist, so I can't tell you what the ideal level is, but I've shod horses and I've shod them for a long time, and the feet have improved, and they've got a decent hoof capsule, and they've moved to a different environment, and you go back and you think, oh no, has someone been out to this and pulled all nails down and put smaller ones in, and the feet look absolutely terrible. And luckily the customer's had me for a while, so she knows that I haven't just turned into a no-shower overnight or something. But a lot of it is to do with the pH level of the soil and their environment. And obviously the diet issue. And like I said about the lotions and the portions, I think it's great if you can get on a level, and at the moment I've been doing some work for Pro Feet Liquid, and I've got some horses on that as an experiment to see how much the foot grows in the same environment and not on anything else, and it is improving, but I think it basically gets left to us with basic farrier to sort the problem out, and the customer just expects the horses to go for the full length, no shoes off, horses sound, and we have to take care of all of those 5 in one. So, and as I've put at the bottom there, our job would be easy if every horse and pony had the conformation and hoof capsule to perform everything asked of it barefoot. I was always told it was the start at the end of the feet when they started to be shod, and it becomes challenging at times to maintain a strong and functional hoof capsule for the whole shoeing period. Which is right, if every horse was barefoot and every horse had the conformation and the foot conformation and type to cope, then our job, we wouldn't be here today talking about it. So that's how I started to think about this talk today. So we'll move on to the next part. So basically, I thought how am I going to go about this, and I thought I'll try and put across my understanding of a strong and functional hoof capsule. And I started going out and looking at horses, and I was looking at the feet, and I was thinking, well, this horse has got strong feet, but it's very hard to put a picture on here and say, this is what your ideal foot should look like. It's strong, it's functional, because there's so many different foot types and foot conformation types. So, but they can fit into any of the different types that we're going to talk about, and they can still be strong. But you can only deal with what you've got, and you can only make that strong. But I started to write some stuff down, my understanding on a strong foot can cope with any terrain, climate and work regime without needing any help. It can do anything asked of it, and it can maintain its consistency as a foot. It's not going to chip, it's not going to crack. It's symmetrical in every proportion. It's a solid, sound, functional foundation, has no blemishes, chips, cracks, what we just spoke about. So then I went back to the picture that we all saw when we were back at college of the Hoof capsule, shows all the different parts, and then I started to write some stuff about that. And the outer surface of the wall is smooth and straight from the coronary band to the ground, and a dead parallel line. The bottom picture is not a great picture, but you should have even wall thickness all the way around, a nice vaulted sole to cause the sole bridge, to get the strength in the foot and the ground clearance, a large frog, strong open heels. The frog should have no disease, free from disease. Your medial and lateral clefts, so on either side of your frog should be the same depth, medial and laterally, and this is what I would start to put into the ideal foot. And then I've got assessing angles and balance. There's another picture at the top there of the foot, and then to start to show our ideal straight hoof wall, same angle as the buttress. And there's a couple of angles down the bottom. There's the ideal angle, 50-55. You've got your sloping past them, and then you've got your upright foot. And that's when I start to think about different foot types. And there's not many feet fit into the ideal. But I'm talking here about a strong and functional hoof capsule. So the second one, which is the sloping angle, it's all the conformation determines the type, and it's all the follow-on from above. So if it has got a long sloping angle, then its foot's going to have a toe flare, and its heels are going to probably be underslung and slung forward, and its bearing's going to be further forward. But you can still shoot that and enhance it to help it to get all your proportions and your balance to make that a strong foot. And same with the upright foot. So what I'm trying to say is that the conformation determines the type. And there's quite a good little saying that conformation determines type, type influences suitable use, and use determines farriery requirements. And I think that kind of sums it all up in one sentence. That what type it is can still be strong. And it would be great if they're all in the ideal, but then like I said, we wouldn't have to be showing them. So move on to the next picture, which is just again, just an angle picture. It shows the 4, 50 to 55, behind 60 to 65. You can see I've put A1, A2, A3. So your front angle, which is your hoof wall, should be the same as your hoof passing axis, the same as your buttress in the ideal situation. And then there's just a picture from the front. My artist skills aren't the best, but I did this the other day. That's just to show again that both your angles, looking straight from the front, dorsal glute, both sides should be the same length, same angle. If you put a line of symmetry down the middle, which mine's not dead in the middle, you should have even both sides, and that's the 90 degrees. So this is still talking about our ideal. So I've done a picture from the bottom, and this is to try and show proportions. So when we start to shoe, we can talk about your toe quarters. So there should be an even distance either side of your toe quarters. And you start to put the foot into a box. And you've probably heard people say about it fitting in the box, and the box is all working on the dot in the middle. It's about 3/8 of an inch back from the pointer frog, and that's on a true well-trimmed frog. That should bifurcate through the centre of your distal interphalangeal articulation, which is your coffin joint. And you start to put the